All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Two Dimes and a Token. I am one of your hosts, Bruck Nasty. And with me today is nobody. Dude, we have an absolutely amazing guest for you guys today. His name is Mr. Paul Guarino. He is the owner and founder of PG Sports Marketing. He's actually a representative or basically an agent for quite a few professional boxers right now. And honestly, he does cross every single sport. He's worked his way up and he kind of like built this thing from the ground up. Before we dive a little bit more into the episode, we got to tell you guys that this podcast is brought to you by Death Grip Wax. Death Grip Wax is a leading edge company when it comes to your facial hair needs. They create the greatest mustache wax on the market, period. Last year, we went to the 2023 Daytona Beach National Beard and Mustache Championships. Death Grip Wax was unanimous in 7 different categories. First, second, and third place. They are the best product on the market. Zero doubt about it. They can help you design your mustache in any which way that you want. You can go with the full English. You can go with the creative style, or they go with the freestyle. Just make that thing crazy as hell, whatever it is you want. So whenever you have a chance, go to deathgripwax.com, or you can go to the links below in the bio and click for link QR, and you'll find the Death Grip Wax shop. Make sure you guys use the promo code 2 Dimes and a Token, all caps, to get 20% off your entire purchase. So like I said, if you want to take your face from a 6 to a 10, Death Grip Wax is the product you need. Go visit deathgripwax.com right now, or visit the link below. Get your 20% off. So, Mr. Paul, man, we had to do a virtual meeting. We actually tried to set up an in-person because, as you know, here on Two Dimes and a Token, we like the in-person setting a little bit more. Unfortunately, we had some things that kind of got in the way of us being able to travel, but he was willing to sit down on a virtual one with us, and he was willing to kind of share his story. And his story, honestly, was truly amazing. It really, really was. He built this sports marketing agency from the ground up. He also started a podcast, and he's also been actively working right now heavily in the boxing area. But he kind of shares the ins and outs of how he got started, where he plans to go, the different sports he wants to get into, and truly, truly inspiring, man. And as you guys get into it, make sure you guys go check him out on the socials. I'm going to pull him up here for you. So you can go check him out. You type in PCG7 and you'll be able to find Mr. Paul. Make sure you guys go subscribe. Absolutely amazing dude. He was fantastic. And I loved how patient he was. We actually had some technical difficulty. We were trying to get the virtual thing started. Like I said, we don't do it very much. But also make sure you go at PG Sports and then PG Sports MKTG. That's the marketing. And then on top of that, make sure you go to at AVG2SAV, and that is his podcast. So one of the cool things we got to talk about in his podcast, he actually got to shoot a one-on-one with Nelly, which I thought was pretty cool. He's interviewed a whole bunch of different guests, and he's got so many sports stories across the entire United States, man. He was just an awesome guy, truly inspirational, and I can't say enough good things about this guy. So without further ado, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Please, when you get a chance, make sure you go hit the subscribe button. Go subscribe to the podcast. Hit the YouTube, hit that subscribe, hit the like. Make sure you leave the comment. We want your spice of the week. Leave it in the comment below. Go find us on every platform. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the whole shebang. Go hit that follow and subscribe button. Helps us out so that we can continue to travel across the country and find the greatest interviews and bring them to you while also making you laugh at how possibly dumb I look putting myself on the internet. So, without further ado, please enjoy our podcast with Mr. Paul.
So what I was telling you, bro, I was thanking you for being patient, man, because we were supposed to go up there for a fight for Brandon Kelly, and we ended up having some personal things happen, and then Brendan's fight got switched to Miami.
Gotcha.
So yeah, dude, we had to make a quick change, but I saw basically I saw you on socials, bro, and I saw the lot of posts and all that kinds of stuff, and then I saw basically like PG Sports. One thing we do on here, man, is we like to dive in and like really like get your story. So
Yeah.
like, walk me through that, bro. Like, where'd you grow up, bro?
Yeah, so I grew up in West Haven, Connecticut. Yeah, I started PG Sports when I was 19 back in 2011. Definitely getting old now, I guess. That's why I feel it, especially when
I
people
feel
like
you.
ask me my age. Like I catch it myself, and I'm like, "Yeah, I am 31." What?
That's awesome, man. So
Yeah.
what? You were 19 years old when you started this?
Yeah, so I started it while I was in college. I was actually just bored one summer, and I always wanted to be a sports agent, so that was like my goal. So I was like, why not start something before graduating? And I just created PG Sports as like a Twitter page, just tweeting about sports and kind of doing like the sports media thing. Um, Promotion wise, I made T-shirts just to promote the Twitter, and then from there, people liked the T-shirts, and then I started making T-shirts and apparel, which then that turned into something where I was like basically like a apparel line. I got a bunch
Yeah,
of trademarks, sent it to pro athletes from Connecticut, like mentioned. So small state, so I'd reach out to guys. I'd literally search on the internet like pro athletes from Connecticut, and then search them and find them, and also, and this is like back in 2011 and 12, so it's like different. And and there wasn't even Instagram. Yeah, there wasn't even Instagram DMs then. So it was like I was DMing
really.
them on. Yeah, so there was no DMs on Instagram, and so I was hitting them up on Facebook. I was hitting them up on Twitter. Like if you couldn't DM them, then I'd just like annoy them and tweet them. And this was before also like when the replies was a different section, so it was my timeline just like of adding people and annoying them and stuff like that. But the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So um, yeah, I got a lot of big people. The first biggest person I got was Brandon Phillips on the Cincinnati Reds. He was an all-star second baseman. He was like the second most followed MLB player at the time on Twitter. Um, and it was really cool to see. I sent him like I only had like 5 hats at the time, like 5 colors.
Yeah,
I mean, and I just was like, screw it, I'm sending them all of them. And then like one day he was just signing cards for tops, and he's just like wearing the hat, and I was like, what the hell? Like I was like, yeah, that's nuts. And then like I think it was, I don't know if it was my junior year college summer, maybe his junior year or senior year or whatever, and they were playing the Mets and the Reds. So I live in Connecticut, like I mentioned, but so New York, and it was like the day before. So I was like, yeah, let me look at tickets, and I don't know how it happened, but like never seen this again. And front row seats were like $110, and I was like, yo, I'm buying these, and I
yo, get
bought them.
out of here, bro. That's
Yeah, I
wild.
don't know if it was just like a last minute. Yeah, it was nuts, and I was like, is this real? So I bought them. Me and my boy got. I was like, yo, we're leaving super early. Like I don't care. We got there so early, like we had to wait in the parking lot for the stadium to open. Like we were the only car in there.
That's dope,
And then
bro.
yeah, and then from there, so then he was there, and then he it must have been his agent or something. He came, like he didn't know I was coming or anything. I think I DM'd him, but he didn't notice or anything. But I saw him talking to his agent, and literally came out of on the field, off the field. I mean, and then so then I saw him and I had a ball. And this is where I stopped becoming a fan basically. And I was like, "Oh, Mr. Phillips." I was like, "Could you sign my ball?" And then he's like signing, and he does like a double take, and he looks at my hat. He's like, I got the same hat as you." I was like, "No, I know, I sent it to you." He's like, "Oh shit, what's up, man?" Blah blah blah. And then so that was like the moment where I stopped. I couldn't be a fan no more. Like I had to become like business ball.
Yes, dude, that's incredible, dude. What a story,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
So like, what gave you the motivation to start all this, man? Like, because I mean, starting a
Mhm.
business at the age of 19 is insane in
Yeah.
itself, but let alone like this thing's big, bro. Like, you got a lot of following on
Mhm.
Instagram. You got a good following on all the other socials, and obviously you've done a lot of reporting. As you see posts of you with famous people across the entire world, dude. So like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what
No, for
motivated you
sure.
to start this?
I think just I don't know. I feel like I always had the entrepreneurial mindset. I always go back to like going to GameStop, and they used to give you like 50 cents for games. And then I always was
Yes.
like, yeah, there got to be a better way. And that's when I discovered like eBay and like selling it on eBay. I rather get like, if you get realistic numbers, let's be like, if you get like $10 or $15 at GameStop, but on eBay you could go get $20 or $30, like, I'm going to spend the extra time to get the extra money back to go buy another new video game. So things like that, and then just having like tag sales, yard sales, whatever people call them, things like always just like using the stuff you have to get the new stuff, or like get not paying the full amount because you have stuff you could sell instead of like throwing out. So I
Yeah.
think that just I don't know where that came from. Just maybe I don't know, maybe how my parents raised me. I'm not really sure. Maybe it was just like in me already. But I think that um, I don't really know. Like I don't know if it's like I wanted to not work for somebody because I don't think that was the case at the time because I was only 19, so I only had like summer jobs, so it wasn't any of that. I think it just pretty much just getting a head start. I think like always people always said to get like internships really fast, like don't wait till
Yeah.
like junior year and things like that. So I kind of remember that. So just like starting before people were starting almost.
That's crazy, man. How did you come up with that logo?
Oh, so that's another good story.
Yeah,
Um,
let's hear it.
so there's this guy Corey Jepson. He's from Idaho, and one of my favorite players was Marshawn Lynch, and this was before he had like Beast Mode apparel.
Yeah.
And so I just looked up like Marshawn Lynch Beast Mode shirts, and this guy Corey made his shirts like officially um, licensed by Marshawn Lynch. So I just I bought one or two or whatever, and then he had a contest for the Super Bowl. I always forget if it was the first or second Giants Patriots, but I think it was the first. And it was like Facebook giveaway, predict the final score, and we'll give you a free Beast Mode shirt. And I predicted the exact score of that
Get
Super
out of here.
Bowl.
You had the
Yeah,
Giants winning?
yeah, like 20. I think it's 2017. I believe that's
Yeah.
what it was. Um, yeah, that's because I'm even though I'm from New England, I'm a Patriots hater. I'm a Dolphins fan, so that
Nice.
was also like the reason why I picked the Giants. Um, but yeah, like and then from there, that's how I connected with him, and he's the one that I ended up hiring to make my logo, and it's pretty much the same logo from
Yeah.
12 years ago.
Bro, that's incredible, dude. What a journey, bro. That's
Yeah,
awesome. So why sports though? What's the big thing about sports that's obviously captivated your mindset?
yeah. I think just growing up, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty normal for a guy to like sports, and then I think the business side of stuff. Um, I think I think obviously everyone wants to go pro. At a young age, I knew I wasn't going pro. I have spinal muscular atrophy, so that was already like I already knew kind of early. So I always knew I wanted to like stay in sports. So I guess that kind of, and I like business obviously so basically the combination of not knowing you're not going to go pro, all the eBay and flipping stuff, and that turns into sports business, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. So you get down a few years. When did you have like that first I don't know what people would like to call it, like the big break type of thing. Like obviously
Mm.
you had that first experience where you go and you ask, you get your baseball and you're like, hey, yo, I sent you this hat. Next thing you know, but like,
Yeah.
was there any moment that really kind of separated? Like, holy shit, like I'm building something that's huge here.
Um, yeah, probably like 2019 is when I quit my job. At the time that I was doing, so I was doing a bunch of different jobs. I was in grad school. I was a substitute teacher, so that was interesting. But I got to do a lot of work while I was subbing and learn. And kids are a good demographic to know what's going trending and stuff. So that's
Yeah,
always like honestly, that's probably the best thing to do if you're like go to a school and figure out what the kids like
that
and market
I gotta be honest, bro. That's my problem. That is a big problem
it.
for me when it comes to the language barrier, dude. There's
Yeah.
all kinds of shit
Oh yeah,
that
you
kids say.
learned a new slang. Like now, there's definitely there's definitely some slang I don't know now for
I
sure.
know, dude. It's wild, bro. It's crazy. We've been interviewing a lot of people that well, a couple guys with producers for Bus with the Boys. They're all like the oldest one is 5 years younger than me. The rest of them are
Yeah.
like 10 years younger than me. So
Mhm.
they'll be saying things sometimes, and I'll be like, I have no idea what he just said, but I'm gonna roll with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, no,
dude,
for sure.
so obviously, like I pointed out earlier, you've had tons of pictures with all kinds of celebrities, man. And
Yeah.
what would you say is what was your a couple of your most impactful experiences?
Yeah. So going back to so I got to quit my job 2019. I know I didn't finish. So I quit my job. So then I guess 2020 was technically like the first full year of PG Sports, like full time. Like
Oh,
I was
okay,
full time.
okay.
Um, so just like 8 years of grinding, 9 years, whatever you want to call it. So I got to go full time. So so currently like I do marketing, sports marketing and management for athletes, and pretty much that was my whole goal. Um, I think I still want to be eventually like a certified agent, but like at this point, I'm like pretty content with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Um, and I am a boxing manager, like officially, negotiate their contracts and all that stuff. So I kind of do it already. But
Damn,
my original
man.
goal was my original goal was to be a MLB agent, but that's not really my goal anymore. But I want to do something maybe in like the WNBA and the NBA eventually. Um, but so basically, right now I do a bunch of marketing and business management for like other athletes besides MMA and boxing. Like I work with NHL players, NFL players, WNBA players, overseas basketball players. No, this is the most ironic part. I don't work with any MLB players, and baseball was my favorite sport growing up.
Dude. I
Yeah, like
was
that's
gonna
why
say, dude,
my life
I was
like it
getting
doesn't
that
make
feel.
sense when I say it all.
Yeah, I was getting that feel, man. Like especially with the
Mhm.
baseball story and how that got started. Like I kind of picked up what you were laying down. Like baseball is like your go-to,
Yeah,
but you're diversified in so many other sports. That's funny, bro.
and I also do like a soccer podcast for MLS players brand, and
Holy crap, man.
I don't even really like soccer to be honest.
Dude, like how do you do all these things at one time? Like especially just number one, I can tell you right now, just
Yeah,
being any type of promoter, like a fighting promoter or anything like that, or even being a sports agent, like
mhm,
that's a full year in itself. Like you're working 325 days, but you have all this other stuff. You're doing merchandise on top of it. You're doing
yeah.
expansion that overseas athletes. You're doing multi-sport athletes, like all that. How are you doing all
Um, I'm single and I'm not married and I don't have kids.
that? I'm not gonna lie, that's not a bad answer, brother. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I did this before while I was working my 9 to 5 because I used to make videos and like people saying like they don't have time to do stuff, and I was like, okay, well if you
Yeah,
get 8 hours of sleep, you go 8 hours of work. That's that, and let's just say 2 hours of travel. That means there's 12 more hours in the day.
yeah. No, I've
So
heard that. I've heard that before. I still try to be a huge advocate of that, man. You're right.
yeah.
There's a lot of time left in the day when you really manage it out, dude.
And then this was before COVID. So now with a remote, you could do so much more. I know some companies. The other thing is like companies now more. You're like working kind of more now, sort of. I know some people are, but now you're saving the travel time though. So
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So, I mean, obviously you're getting into all kinds of stuff. Like if you had your dream scenario, what's one or two roles that you would be doing for the next 50 years?
I guess my ultimate goal would be, work with a small clientele of maybe like 10 to 15 people that are kind of just like Uh, like making a good amount of money that could that I don't have to do multiple things.
Yeah, I
That
feel
makes
that.
like that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
And that's why it's crazy too. Like when I think about it, it's like if I had one NBA player and I'm his agent, and you get whatever 5%, 3% of the contract, and they're all making like minimum $10 million, like that right there could be your income for the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'll work. If I
Yeah,
get
so that's
five
what
of
I'm saying. It's
those,
like, huh?
if I get five of those, that's cool.
Oh
I
yeah,
can live off
I'm set. That's what I'm saying. So it's like a
that
weird
for
game of
life.
like chess, and yeah, it's all about relationship building too. Like the people have to trust you. They have to go. The other thing like that happens to me a lot is I reach out to people, they go with somebody else, and then they come back to me, which is like a good thing and a bad thing sometimes, is because then it's like, especially in like the boxing or MMA scene, they might get a couple losses and then they come back to me, and then it's like I'm down to always help people, but it's like I wanted you to trust me at the beginning and not, when you're down. But like,
I feel you 100% on that, man, because that's it's I don't want to use the term pride shot, but it's like if you're advocating for someone and you're like saying, "Hey, dude, I'll do everything I can to get you to the next level. Like we'll be a great team." And then obviously go a different direction, you come back and you're like, "Oh, so I'm like second pickings." Like, yeah.
yeah,
No, I pick up what you're laying down, man. How do you kind of mentally move past that? Cuz honest, dude, I'll be honest. I'm a stubborn dude, and that
yeah,
stuff just pisses me off when things like that
yeah,
happen. So I'm like, dude, no, So
yeah.
how do you handle that?
I think just maturing with age. Pretty much, I used to get mad at a lot of stuff, and I used to even like go off on Twitter and stuff, and now I just don't. I just kind of reverse engineer it and use it as motivation, and maybe subtweet stuff instead of like adding people, and
Yeah,
or just saying motivational phrase like when I say like chip on my shoulder or consistency is key. Maybe something
yeah,
happened that day that just I wanted to. That's like my saying like "f you" without saying it.
yeah. That's good, bro. I
Yeah,
like that, dude. Do
yeah.
you use a lot of social media in your marketing strategies, like to try and communicate with players and all that?
Oh yeah, my whole business is built off social media.
Yeah.
If I didn't have social media, I wouldn't like be here.
So do you? Here's the thing. So we just got on Twitter, and that's like a whole different world, bro. Have
Yeah,
you been on Twitter for a long time?
yeah, I love Twitter. That's how I got started. That was the first page I made actually. Um,
Really?
and then I got verified on in 2020 before you get paid, and that changed everything too. Like I got in contact with way more people when I got verified when it was not paid for. It was crazy. Like I got a bunch of people that I wouldn't have got on my podcast. I made a lot of connections off that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish I got that like way. If I got that earlier, it would have been nuts.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was gonna ask you about that. What I see majority of the time, because I'm a huge football guy, and
Yeah,
I see guys just talking shit back and forth on Twitter.
yeah.
Like, have you ever gotten into a Twitter battle with anybody?
Probably, but not anything like serious. I leave that to the boxers. They do that. That's how they start up the fights.
I feel you, dude. That's absolutely awesome, man.
Yeah.
So venturing like now, I mean, what's kind of something that you have your eyes set on, or kind of like a goal that you're looking for 2024? Since obviously, you're
Yeah.
doing extremely well by the end of 2023. What's something you're looking to accomplish next year?
Yeah, continuing to like take over boxing pretty much. So
Yeah,
I'd say like I guess 2023 was, I'd say like technically my first full year of managing fighters. Like I'd done it in the past, but not like with elite fighters like I am now. So
mhm.
it's a little different, and like I got two guys that are world rank in the top 15 or top 10, and one's in the top 15. So in the world, like not, this isn't UFC where they're in the just the UFC, like this is the whole world. So
Yeah, the whole world.
so it's pretty cool. So one of my main goals is to get one or both of them a world title fight this year, and then hopefully it's in Vegas or
That's
maybe Saudi
dope.
Arabia, because that's where they're giving out the bags right now.
Yes.
That's definitely one of my goals. And then just so he's continuing to grow is, I guess, my forever goal is just, I always, the way I look at success is just like looking back at what I was doing last year and if I'm progressing. Pretty much like I don't want to. I'm not looking at other people's success and things like I want to know if I'm doing better than I was personally like last year.
Not gonna lie, bro. That's tugged a little heartstring right there. I feel you. I feel you on that.
Yeah, I think
So
people
now
look
you
at
have
it's I
more.
think
Like I
that's why
said, we,
too. No,
huh?
yeah, I was saying like I think people just look at social media too much and or judge themselves based on social media. But if you really look at your own self and what you were doing last year or even the year before, and then you just like because like I look back, like that's why sometimes I like on the iPhone and they show you like oh past memories. I like look at last year and I was like oh shoot like that was crazy like and now look at where I'm at now.
Yeah, dude, I love that. I love that. That's absolutely awesome, bro. So I wanted to ask you. So you've gotten into, obviously we talked about PG Sports, but I mean you have multiple other things that you kind of branched off from that. And
Mhm.
I'm literally pulling them up here, but like here, one second. Oh Lord, there we go. So you have, I mean, like you said, PG Sports Marketing, which we kind of dove into a little bit, but you also have a podcast that you're doing. What's the name of the podcast?
Yeah, so my podcast is Average to Savage. I started that in 2018. Didn't want to interview just athletes, so that's why it's not called PG Sports Podcast. It's Average to
Yeah.
Savage. So I interview like pretty much anybody that's like kind of interesting to me. And um, I got my favorite artist on Nelly 2 years ago, so that was crazy.
Yeah, I saw the
I
clip.
almost
I saw
stopped
the
after
clip
that.
of you and Nelly chatting it
Yeah,
up, bro. That had to have been badass.
yeah. It took me 3 years to get him, so it was cool. And and after that, I was like, I don't know if I want to continue the podcast because I was like, that was my top guy, like who I wanted to interview. Like that was it. Like
Dude, that's
that
awesome.
was it. Yeah. The only all right. So I have I'll break some a little news. I'm having Ricky Williams on next
Really?
January. So I have so my favorite players growing up were him, Chuck Knobloch, and Alfonso Soriano. So I already had Chuck Knobloch on, and now I'm gonna have Ricky on. So I just need to get. I guess Alfonso Soriano would be really like my last person that I like would really, really, really want to.
Yeah. And then are
Yeah.
are you shutting down the podcast game after that? You've officially knocked the
No,
the
probably
four
not, but
ultimates.
yeah, probably not. But like then I pretty much got everybody.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
that's incredible. So I gotta
yeah,
say, I'm a huge Carolina Panther fan, which is obviously not it's not awesome right now.
yeah.
We're not looking good, brother. It's tough. So here's an example for you right here. So this is the official Luke Kuechly, well, future Hall of Fame helmet,
Yeah.
signed, all the Pro Bowls, all that stuff, and then we got a Julius Peppers helmet over there too. But I
Let's go.
digress. We're dedicated, regardless of our 2 and dog shit record. Okay. If I could pick 3 people, I'd probably be like Luke Kuechly, probably Julius Peppers, and God, that would be wild. I couldn't even think of a third person right now. I don't know. I'd want to interview somebody that like you had actually some really good names because like even Ricky Williams, right? Those
Yeah,
guys didn't come up when like podcasting was huge. Like
yeah, yeah,
nowadays, could you? I mean, everyone would say like, "Oh, I'd want to sit down with Tom Brady," but Tom Brady sits down every day on a podcast. You see him
yeah.
every day.
That's
You
why.
know what I
Well,
mean?
Ricky Williams does a lot of media. Well, now, but that's why it
Yeah.
was cool to
Now.
get Chuck Knobloch because I thought that was kind of like I don't think he's really does podcasts, but I don't because he's kind of like on the low. Like he just like lives in Texas, and I think he like coaches like youth kids right now. But
Yeah, I think you know
so
what I
that was
think. The only
interesting.
thing I've seen him do, he did Sunday Conversation with Caleb Presley once. I think.
No, Chuck Knobloch.
No, no, Ricky Williams. Sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure, sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about
Ricky
Chuck.
Williams is funny too. Like I feel like,
Yes, dude, he's absolutely hilarious. And then
and now
the
and
when
that's why it's so funny. Like him, like his whole thing was like weed, and now it's like that's why how the whole world changed. It's like when people like say a kid right now, if they read about Ricky Williams getting suspended for weed, they probably be like, "What?"
yeah, and to be honest, he could probably turn around if he was that petty and probably sue.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
He probably could.
yeah.
So God, that's awesome, man. So naturally, like you said, I want to venture back into a little bit of your sports marketing stuff. So break that stuff down for me. Like, what does a day in the life look for you in that particular role, or you know what I'm saying? Like, are you venturing out? Are you just networking a ton? Or are you working events? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, so day to day stuff, it's more of like a lot of emailing and getting in contact with people, and it just depends on what events are going on. Yeah, so for like boxing events, it's usually trying to get it. One have to get their medicals all right because they have to get cleared to actually fight.
Hmm.
Then helping them get sponsors and getting their trunks and things like that, designing them and getting all that stuff ready, and t-shirts and all that. So there's like a bunch of stuff for that. Then for other athletes, it's always like the main thing is everyone wants sponsors. So like that's what it is. Like building, you got to build the relationships with the brands, and like that's really my goal. One of my other goals too right now is just like building better relationships with brands, and like I want them to come back to me and want them to like utilize, like I want to make a deal where it's like they want 5 of my players or 10 of my players, not just like one or two or something like that. So like those are like things I want to do more of, and then yeah, just like reaching out to people, making sure they're good, checking in on them, just kind of I like to consider pretty much, I'd say all of them are my friends. Like I hang out with them too and things like
Yeah.
that. So it's cool.
Nice. Okay. So like what about when it comes to the actual events? Are you usually attending all the
Yeah.
events, like the boxing events and stuff like that?
Um, so, sort of like when they're around here, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like so I work with Anthony Taylor, who's on Misfits Boxing, which is like the influencer slash crossover boxing. So he's an
Yeah.
MMA fighter by trade. So he does a lot. He has a lot of fights in the UK. So I haven't been to one of his fights yet, but eventually I have to go. But he's right now the Misfits light heavyweight champion. So he's another good story. Good guy. I work with Kimbo Slice Jr. and he just hit me up when I started working with him, and he was a 5-6 MMA fighter at the time, and I took him on, and now he's been blown up. Like he's pretty much my second biggest client now, and
Yeah.
and that's just like taking a chance on somebody that just wanted to be a part of the team. Like he didn't even want anything. Like he just wanted to be a part of it. So that's always cool. He always pushes me too because he called. This is the other thing, the key thing to athletes, they have to recognize that it's not all me doing something, it's not all them doing something. Like it has to be a partnership. It has to be like a group effort. Like he calls me all the time. So like I'm always helping him like essentially more because he keeps on asking me and asking and asking me. So that makes me want to help him more and more and more. So like the communication is key too. Like if I don't hear from somebody or they don't text me back in a couple days, like they don't text me back that day and they text me back like days later, like all right, then you're not serious about like doing this stuff.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more, man. I've in my professional life, I've been in situations where you do have to rely on one other person. You create a partnership like that, you
Yeah.
know? And you're 1,000% right, bro. I couldn't have said it better. Like that's great that I'm out here and I want to get you some great fights and I want to push your career and stuff, but like I can't do shit if you don't move your feet. Like
Yeah, and even
that's how it
yeah, and
works.
even yeah, and even going back to social media, like that's a huge part, especially with the influencer boxing. Like you literally getting fights because you have followers. Like you need to be posting, and it has to be quality content. And that's the other thing. Like just getting that's another thing. Like finding cameramen everywhere because obviously it's cheaper to hire somebody like in that state versus flying somebody that you know out with them and doing all the work.
Yeah.
So that's another key thing that's dope. I even like another cool thing with Anthony Taylor, like like I like doing crossover things like with in terms of other sports. So I got all my boxers this year to go throw out first pitches at like minor league games and all that. And Anthony Taylor, I was like, yo, we're going to Oakland A's. Like I was like, screw it. And I emailed Oakland A's and he got to throw out the first pitch at the A's game, and I didn't have anybody in Oakland because he lives in LA now, and he didn't have anybody either, even though he's from like the Bay Area. So I then actually Kimbo's boy hit me up. I was like, yo, I got somebody. And I was like, all right, like I put it on social media. I was like, yo, I need a videographer. He was like, yo, he does all my music videos. All right, perfect. He already did I forgot who it was. It was a rapper for their first pitch at the Giants. And he already so he I didn't even need to tell him anything. He got it done and he knew exactly what to do. He made the video. It was dope. So it's just like little things like that. It's just like a network of people that you know.
Yeah. No, dude, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome. You literally can't ask for a better scenario than what just happened. That's
Yeah, it was
fantastic.
I
So,
was like, yo, because like you know when you have to like finding video people is kind of hard sometimes, and then just like trusting them to know what they're doing, then but knowing that your boy's boy already uses them and he already done what you're asking for, it's like it was perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. So now, like you said, a lot of that world for you is in boxing right now. Like, are you trying to
Yeah.
stay in that particular sport, or are you looking to
Mhm.
expand, like maybe to your favorite sport, like baseball or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to keep on working with like bigger people, like higher ranked people or like A-listers or whatever, but like or and with the whole NIL stuff and all that, it's like crazy. And now people are getting like agents and marketing managers way younger, as young as like high school or middle school, which is like kind of weird
Hmm.
to an extent. But I know I have to get there eventually. I just haven't worked with any NIL people or kid like high schoolers or college kids yet. But eventually, I'm gonna have to do it because it's like that's where everything's going.
Yeah. Are are you a fan? Were you a fan when they first discussed and started coming out with the NIL situation? Are you a fan of basically college athletes
Yeah,
getting paid?
yeah. Yeah. I want them to get paid. It's just the gray areas of all the what like from a marketing manager perspective, what they can
Hmm.
and can't do. Um, and then I think the other thing is just giving a lot of kids false hope because it's the same thing. Like I don't know why people aren't saying it more, but it's the same thing as pros. Like it's only the top 1% that are getting these huge sponsorships. Like you don't see no O linemen getting sponsorship. They're getting paid millions though, but do they get sponsors? No. Like you think a bench player on a D1 team's getting sponsors? Probably not.
Yeah, no, definitely not, man. See it. That's funny because I'm
That's why it's
actually
like that's
usually
why it's frustrating. Like when I see all that stuff on, and that's why I don't want to work. Like I don't want to fail anybody, so that's why I don't want to work with the people that are coming to me because it's like everyone will look bad.
yeah. No, I feel you on that, man. See, and it's funny too because I take the opposite stance on that. I think, to be honest, especially because I'm a huge college football fan, I
Mhm.
think that the transfer portal and and the NIL deals and all that stuff, it really like it sabotaged the game because we all, and
Yeah,
again, the only reason I'm able to support this is because what was the number of students that entered the transfer portal right
yeah,
after the regular season ended?
I don't know,
You
but
know,
yeah, I know it's crazy.
it is, it's nuts, man. And to be honest, like college football for me growing up, like because that was the goal, man. I played football all the way through, and I ended up playing NAIA, and but I had some Division 1 AA offers, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna say if I wasn't a bitch, I would have left home, but I chose not to, and I chose to stay in Florida. But I would have went somewhere, and I probably would have had somewhat of a decent career. I never would have made it to the NFL. I probably would have made Canadian, and I probably still would have rode the bench. But that whole time frame, like college football, was the like authentic last thing that you did before it turned into money. And
yeah,
it was legendary, dude. Like everybody got
yeah,
together on Saturdays to watch college football. You know what I mean? And
yeah, yeah,
now it's just like, hey, something happens and they're like, I'm out of here. And it's just, to me, it's taken all the actual authenticness, right? Authenticity, excuse me,
yeah,
authenticity out of the game, and it's literally turning it into like the the teenager of the NFL. You
yeah,
know what I mean? How
yeah.
do,
It's
how do
weird.
you do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I mean, well, I want the kids to make money, but the transfer portal, yeah, is a little much. I don't. I also didn't like the 1 year rule, but now I don't like that everyone could do it like automatic. Like there should be more like there should be more requirements why you transfer instantly. Like that's fine. Like if they're like I remember back in the day too, there was like instances where they wouldn't let kids like transfer and not sit out, and their like mom was sick and they said no. Like that's like a legit reason to transfer to play at home to take care of your mom.
Yeah.
Like that was like weird. But like yeah, the automatic transfer and now especially with the COVID year. and then like the kids transfer multiple times, and like you go to like 4 schools in 4 years or 4 out of 5 years or whatever. It's like that's just kind of weird.
Yeah. No,
Maybe there should be
I
a
couldn't
limit. Maybe you should give him one or maybe two. Maybe I don't know, 1.5.
Yeah. See, I would be I love that 1.5. I would be I would be a pain in the ass. I would say they're like transfer portal doesn't exist. Listen, you pick a school. When you
Yeah,
pick a school, you stick that shit out. And if you decide that you can't stick it out, then you're losing a year of eligibility. That's
yeah, or
to
that,
me,
or yeah. I think that's more fair. If you than sitting out, I rather lose a year than sit out.
yeah, exactly. So instead of, and like you said, it kind of fast tracks the process and it doesn't waste
Yeah,
people's time. So if you
yeah,
decide to transfer, and if you transfer mid-season, then you would automatically, if you're a junior on the field, you become a senior on the field, regardless
yeah,
of how many games are left.
yeah. And like, imagine for the coaches how crazy this been.
I know, man. I know. And then I know everybody's eyeballing Dion over in Colorado because what he's got
Yeah,
the number 52 ranked uh, recruiting class, but he's got all these kids in the transfer portal.
yeah,
Like Colorado's future is done. Everybody's saying when his son leaves for the NFL, like he's out. You think he's out?
yeah. Uh, yeah. I think. Well, no, I think he'll still coach in college football. I just don't know where.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. Well,
Like if he goes to a
I'm
bigger school, that'd be crazy. Like if he, like imagine if he goes to like Florida State where he went, like it'd go nuts.
dude. I don't know. There's so much around that guy. Him at a Florida State with his attitude and his swag and all that stuff, bro. Like,
Yeah,
yes, like Tallahassee would explode.
yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, he's like, bro, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So now have you gotten into football at all, or is that not?
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, right now I work with Josh Butler, and he's on the practice squad for the Cowboys, and I work with Owen Wright. He's a running back um for the Ravens, and he's on the practice squad as well. He's a rookie. Or actually, they're both technically Josh played pro in the spring league, but technically he's a rookie, and they're both rookies in the NFL.
Yeah, nice, man.
Yeah.
What's been the difference between working in boxing and football, and obviously different sports? Like, what would you say is the biggest difference between shifting all between all the sports that you work in?
Um, I don't think there's a difference
Really?
because it's just like dealing with people still, like just different personalities, I guess.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. I thought there would be a different type of communication or anything like that. No, that's cool. That makes things really
Yeah, I'm trying
simplistic
to
then.
think
So you
like
can,
the only difference. Well, all right, the only difference is like the boxers and stuff. You act like on a, how do I say this, on a like a do or die type thing. Like losing a game is whatever, right? You
yeah,
have the next game. Losing a fight could change your whole life, like literally,
yeah, that's
or
true.
winning a fight. That's why it's so high intent. It's so high intensity and everything. Like like yes, I'm help like in other sports and stuff. It is affecting their life, but if I set up a fight and if they lose, like I could damage their whole life forever.
Wow, dude. So I've seen some of that in the movies. I've always assumed a little bit is kind of put on for show and that type of thing, but like literally, like depending on the fights that you can line up, depending
Yeah,
on the quality of the opponent, how they fight, all that stuff, like
yeah,
yeah, I mean, damn, I didn't even think about it that way. You're right. A bad showing
yeah.
can
It's crazy.
really like affect the shit out of them, man. Have you ever seen an instance like that happen?
Um, I mean, sort of. There's been a lot of ups and downs with all the fighters. Like, so right now I work with Cordell Booker. I just signed him last year, coming off of his first loss. Um, and we just rebuilt his whole. career now. He got 4 wins in a row. I set up all those fights. I did all, like, because we're independent, we don't have a promoter, so
Yeah.
I pretty much set up all the fights. I literally negotiated with the opponent, which is also weird at times. Like, I have to talk to the opponent, and I have to be like, "Yeah, my guy's gonna beat you," but I don't say that. Um, yeah, so it's weird. It's weird, and then and now, and we're doing all this stuff independent. Like, so I don't know how much you know about boxing, but there's 4 sanctioning bodies. That's like the 4 belts, and these sanctioning bodies have conventions every year, and you could go there and you pitch the fighter to be ranked. Like, it's a weird. It's like so elementary. Like, you
Really?
literally, yeah. It's like, so anyway. So he got three wins in a row, right? Then we did this fight in DR. So this was the 4th fight of the year. This was back in October, and and it was we did this so, one, he could stay active, and two, the WBO convention was there. So I was like, all right, you're gonna go, and then you're gonna talk. I had his other boy go with him. I got to go. His boy went with him, his trainer, and then they did it. We got the win, and then the next day they went to the rankings committee. They talked, and then like a month went by, nothing happened because the rankings only come out once a month, and then sometimes they're slow about it. Um, and then all of a sudden, we didn't even know. Like, and I just checked it again one day because nothing was happening, and then they ranked him 14 in the world. So now that happened. So all the hard work paid off of, like, 4 fights in a row, like grinding. Like, even though it was like not top competition, but it's just to get him back into things. So every fight though so far has been up and up, and now on February 3rd he's fighting a guy that fought for a world title, and he's the main event again in Connecticut, and he's defending one of the belts that he has. It's a different sanction body. It's WBC US belt. So after this win, he should be ranked even higher, and either the next fight or the fight after that should be for a world title.
Wow, that's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's a
That's all
great
in one
plan. I
year.
mean, it's a lot of movement. That's all. Yeah, all in 1 year.
Like,
That's insane, dude.
yeah. That's why it's like, that's why I said that, going back to my point of, like, looking back, like, imagine him looking back at it last year, like he got his first loss, and now this year he was 17-1. Now he's 21-1 and ranked 14 in the world.
Yeah. God, that's crazy. How you gonna feel when he brings home a world title? I know you're going to
It's
that
gonna
fight
be a
regardless of where it is, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I had one guy. So one guy, but I sponsored people back in the day. But so one guy that I sponsored, Jamel Herring, he actually won the world title with PG Sports on his trunks. So that was like a cool moment. But my other
Nice.
guy, Tremaine Williams, who I've been working with since he's 8-0, he's from New Haven, Connecticut, and he got a world title fight in 2020. But it was like it wasn't supposed to happen because it was the COVID, and nobody could go, and it was here in Mohegan because all the fights were here at Mohegan Casino, and the main event guy, got COVID. He was already world rank and stuff. He was like top 5, and he was the
Yeah.
co-main event and title eliminator. Guy in the main event got COVID, so he got moved up to the main event to fight for the world title, but unfortunately he lost. But it was cool. I mean, it was cool because that was like my first experience of it, because I've been working with him since he was 8-0, and now he was 19-0 and got the world title shot. So that was like really cool experience for that. But unfortunately he lost, and nobody could go either. So like that wasn't the real him
Yeah.
yet. Like, it was just
Yeah.
that
No,
was
I feel you on
the
that.
2020 year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bullshit. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So yes, dude. So obviously, when this thing lines up, and like all the confidence in the world to your boy, like he's gonna finish this thing off in February, have a title
Yeah.
shot, and you're definitely going, dude. That's got to be an experience, man.
Yeah,
So
then
like,
my other guy, Ian Green, he's ninth in the world in the middleweight division, and he was
yeah,
as high as fifth this year. He's just been semi inactive. He fought in January, and then he just fought in December. So
hmm
he signed with Don King, and yeah, Don King's still doing work, and
damn, dude, that's wild.
so that is also another experience working with Don King, which is crazy. And then so again, he should be, after hopefully next month, he should be back in the top 5, and then he should get his next fight should be for a title eliminator or the world title too. So that's why I have two. That's why it's crazy, like, to say, like, I legit work with like 2 of the best fighters in the world right now.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah.
That's gotta be such a good feeling, bro.
And if I'm
I'm
with
feeling
them,
it for you,
like, I
brother.
feel
Like
pretty
you're,
safe.
yeah.
I'm saying, if I'm with, like, And then I got Mike Kimball, who's an MMA fighter in boxing. He's like a walking weapon. Yeah,
Dude, that's
literally.
awesome.
Yeah,
So what you're saying is you roll deep. That's what
yeah,
you're
pretty
saying.
much. Yeah.
Gator don't play no shit.
You ever seen like those things where it's like the people mess with like MMA fighters or boxers and they don't know they're boxers or MMA fighters?
Yeah.
Like they just get like choked out or like
Yes, exactly,
like
dude.
even like there was a one I forgot it. It was like an old guy, like really old, like 70 or something. He was like a former professional boxer and he beat the shit out of some guy, like a robber or something.
Oh my God, dude. That's
Yeah,
insane, bro. That's absolutely
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
So, damn, dude. So obviously, like we've established, man, you're big time into basically in the fighting world, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it sounds like things are going absolutely phenomenal. Like, is this going to be your main focus for a little while and then kind of
Hmm.
migrate, or?
Yeah, I think the thing with boxing is like at these levels that these guys are fighting at, usually I mean 4 times a year is like unrealistic at this point. So it's usually like 2 or 3 times. So that's why that's why I got to do other stuff too with the other sports in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love boxing and like that's pretty much my favorite sport at this point. Overall in combat sports this year, the PG Sports record was 22-3. So it was pretty dope here.
Wow. So dude, 2023 was good to you, brother.
Yeah, it was really good. It was one of my
That's
best
awesome.
years, to be honest, like ever.
Nice, man. That's
Uh,
congrats, man. That's absolutely badass, dude.
yeah, I appreciate it.
So, dude, that's so cool, man. So, one of the things I want to dive into a segment that we have, because once we start getting to our hour wrap time, like we have two segments that we go off of. Number one is bad decisions make better stories, right?
Yeah.
And so we here at Two Dimes in a Token, we firmly believe um, anything that you've done in the past can either become a very funny story or it can be the best, like The Rock says, the best thing that never happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you can think back, what is a scenario where you might have made a mistake or made a wrong turn or whatever it may be, and then fast forward and it actually turned out to be one of the best things that you ever did?
I could give you a reverse one.
All right, we'll do reverse on this one. I dig it.
Because because this one stuck out when you kept on saying the like there was a time, I think it was 20 like 12 or 13. This guy from like Arizona I kind of did stuff with. He was a little sketchy, but that's probably why I didn't do it. But he told me about somebody. He was like, "Yo, you gotta check out this girl, like MMA fighter." And this was before I was always been a boxing fan, but I wasn't into MMA at that point. Like, and I just I didn't like it. I was always like pro. I was like, nah, boxing. I'm a boxing guy. And and guess who the girl was that he wanted me to like potentially work with?
Who?
Ronda Rousey.
Oh, get out of here, bro!
Yeah. So
No,
yeah, that was like one of the biggest
no.
mistakes I made. Yeah, because because I never said yes, so I don't know if he would have really connected me with her or not. But like
Yeah.
I said no, so like I don't know.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
That's got to be a little bit of a punch to the face
yeah,
after the fact.
yeah, for
After the
sure.
fact, when you see all the things that, damn, she had like 17 arm bars in a row for the
She was
greatest
like the
female run of
biggest
all
thing.
time.
Yeah, she was like the biggest thing for like whatever that 2 3 year run.
I know, man. The only thing that really, because there was obviously like when she got beat up by Holly Holmes, that sent shockwaves through the world, and they realized like, okay, you got to have a stand up game too, right?
Yeah,
And but I mean, still, even though there's only been two women that have dominated the sport like that, Amanda Nunes and Ronda Rousey.
yeah,
So that's incredible, man. So one of our, and then our last segment that we like to get into, man, it's called Spice of the Week, dude. So this one sponsored by Joe's Backyard Smokehouse. Love you too, Joe. This one is, if you can look back in the past week or two and think of something that has something significant, it could be really, really big, or it can be something little bitty, tiny, small things that happen that made your week a little bit better. And this segment is predicated on the idea that sometimes, you go through your week, you end your week. Sometimes people are just pissed off. They're looking at all the shit that went bad, and you're just like, dude, this sucks. But if you really take an evaluation of it, like, hey, man, this thing kind of happened, and it was actually pretty cool. Made the week kind of not as bad as I thought it was. Kind of get people thinking a positive direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Like just anything that I saw.
Anything you saw, anything that happened, it can be something big. And I'll give you, as a matter of fact, I'll go first. I'll give you a little example. So, our third or fourth podcast is when we started. We started Spice of the Week, and for some odd reason, dude, like, hey, I'm a big boy, man. I like my snacks. And one night, couldn't go to sleep. I got up, and it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was rummaging through, and next thing you know, I had this idea. I was like, holy shit, I got a fresh, unopened box of Lucky Charms in there. And I smashed probably the third or fourth largest bowl of cereal this world has ever seen. And I come rolling out, and for some odd reason, for the next 3 or 4 days, I was like, bro, that bowl of cereal smacked. Like, it was delicious. And for me, it's the little things, man. It's those little tiny appreciation moments. Just makes me feel good. And I was carrying high. I was riding through for the next 3 or 4 days. And my brother Keon, he usually has some big ones. He has some really, really big ones. There was a famous one that we've told several times. Is he was last year. He was Christmas shopping with his son Mikey, and they were checking out. Some random guy just handed him $100, and he was like, "Hey man, he's only gonna be this age another year or two, man. Go get more shit. Who cares? Go buy more." And he was like, "What?" And it was just, he's like, "Man, don't worry about it. Like, go do your thing, get some more shit, because you're only gonna be able to enjoy this time with your son for a few more years, and then he's gonna be chasing girls and doing all this other stuff." So, and unbelievable moment. And that was something that kind of, obviously, that was a big thing that changed this whole week. So, kind of a few examples there for you.
Yeah, for sure. Not personally, but just like the whole Tommy DeVito takeover. I just enjoy that with being Italian
Yeah.
and then talking about chicken cutlets and all that. Like
Yeah.
and then also on the flip side, like his agent getting praise that because he's a smaller agent, so I respect
Yeah.
him a lot. That he's like they're actually like doing articles on him and going back. So that's like really dope because now, like for him, I know like the feeling like he's grinding and he's getting those guys that are undrafted and all that. And now I bet you, like next season, I'm sure he's going to get someone like a higher player and stuff like that. So
I mean,
I think that's really
the
cool.
advertisement that he had during all the last
Yeah,
two games, like,
yeah.
yes.
And the funniest thing is it's because it's like stereotypical of like how he's dressing to be Italian and all that. It's just, like the
Yeah.
funniest stereotype. So
Absolutely, dude. I
yeah,
couldn't agree with you more. Yes. He is
yeah,
definitely running that when you look at him, you think his name is Vince Papali. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like that Eagles player.
yeah,
So that's dope, man. That's good
yeah,
spice. That's a good spice of the week. I like it. So
yeah,
I I gotta say, my spice of the week, again, I like small things, kind of weird, but it actually happened today, probably about an hour before we were able to hop on. Um, but I've been pushing my kids to go outside a lot more. You know how kids are, man. They go and stay inside, play video games all day, and they're on
yeah,
Christmas break. So I
yeah,
see my daughter; she's been sitting on her ass all day playing Roblox. And so towards the end of my workday, I was like, "Hey, why don't you guys go outside and like build a fire?"
yeah,
Just build a fire, like do your thing, right? I go out there, I gave them a little bit of help, nothing too dramatic. Fast forward, next thing you know, they got this raging fire, and they got them. All their friends came over from the other houses. Next thing you know, you got 4 or 5 little kids just sitting around this fire. They're talking about trying to get food to roast into it. The whole shebang, bro. Brought me back to like my kid days, my camping days. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm
So that
I'm
shit
just
gave
like
me the
all I'm
feels.
thinking about is like I'm just jealous that you guys could go outside right now because I'm like in the freezing cold right now.
Oh shit, dude. What's the temperature there?
I don't know, probably like 30 something.
God, dude. If it's any consolation, I did live in Michigan for a long time, so I
Oh,
do know what cold is, bro.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
I'm
no,
with
for
you on
sure.
that. So, my man, dude. I gotta tell you, dude. Like I said, I reached out and everything. Saw some amazing stuff, and obviously you've had an amazing journey thus far. And I mean, I can tell just from sitting here and talking with you for the first 10 minutes, bro. You got a long fucking successful journey coming, bro. And
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
yes, dude, absolutely. And I would love the opportunity to be able to check in on and be able to redo this again, man.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
after in February after the fight or whenever you get your next title fight, dude, that's the one. I
Yeah.
wanna
Are
see if
you
we
in the
can
Are
sit
you in the
down
Miami
before or
area?
after. Huh?
Are you in the Miami area?
No, I'm in Central Florida. I'm right around Orlando.
Gotcha. Because so I was just gonna say because the Don King cards are in at the Miami casino.
When is that?
No, I don't know. The one just happened. It was December 2nd. So the next one maybe February or March.
Okay. Well, if let me know, man, because
Yeah,
if
I'll let
you
you know.
have, let me know, because if you got someone down there, we got to find a way to get you down in Miami, and we will drive down there, and we'll all make a day of it.
Yeah, for sure.
You're a beast, dude. Hey, I appreciate you for coming on, and you are the man, dude.
All right, thanks for having me.
Two dimes and a token.